Hey guys, we're now going to start working with some patterns. So look at the patterns on your screen, work it out on your own paper, and write the next three numbers that would come in this pattern. So the first pattern, if you were looking through it, should see that you're counting by 4. So fill in your counting by 4, 20, 24, 28. The next one, you were counting by 6. So 32, 38, 44. And then the last one, you were subtracting 4 each time. So the numbers got smaller, 8, 4, and then 0. So we're going to be in our book, page 681 to 684. We're going to be analyzing patterns and relationships. So the first thing I'm going to go over is some vocabulary we're going to be talking about. The first one is the word term, which is a number in a pattern. So if you look at the patterns that I have in the box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those are each different terms in that pattern, or 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. The second one is the corresponding terms. Now, corresponding is where the terms are in the same position on two related patterns. So we have two patterns here, and we're relating the first term, 1 and 3, or the third term, 3 and 9, or the fifth term, 5 and 15. So those are called corresponding terms. So for the first question, Maria works at the snack stand at a basketball game. Each frozen yogurt costs $3, and each sandwich costs $6. Maria makes a list of the costs for buying 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 frozen yogurts, and she also makes a list for the cost of the same number of sandwiches. So when we're talking about a list, we're talking about being able to draw out a chart listing those out. So I want you to draw your charts. You're going to need 2 of them because we're talking about snacks and we're talking about the sandwiches and the yogurts. So 1 chart for sandwiches and 1 chart for yogurts. Okay, and then I want you to separate it out, neater than I did probably, and fill in your chart. So if you have 0 yogurts, that would cost 0. And then if you had 1 yogurt, what would that cost? And then just keep filling in your charts. Okay, so go ahead and take a second and do that with both charts. You need to do 1 for yogurt and you need to do 1 for your sandwiches, okay? Okay, so this is one that's typed up a little bit nicer than I was doing. So for your yogurts, notice you have the 0 through 6, and with that 0 through 6, the cost is $3 each, so the cost is going up by $3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Your sandwiches, again, 0 to 6 sandwiches, each sandwich is $6, so that one is counting up by 6. So the second question was write a sentence describing the rule. So what is the rule for the first one? Well, we made this list by adding 3 each time, right? And then the second one, what is the rule for this one? Well, we added 6 each time because each sandwich was $6. So on this question, number 1, how did you find the cost of yogurts and the cost of sandwiches? So again, what did you have to do to find the cost of those yogurts each time? And what did you do to find the cost of the sandwiches each time? Again, we made the chart and then we added $3 for each yogurt and $6 for each sandwich. So number 2 says to look ahead, and again, it's talking about that vocabulary word term. The numbers in a pattern are called terms. A rule tells you how to move from one term in a pattern to the next. So the rule would be add 2 or add 3 or those kind of things. All right, so let's look at A. Maria also sells hot dogs for $5 and pizza for $10 each. Use the rules shown in the table to list the terms of each pattern. So you're going down this direction. If the hot dog, you're adding 5 is the rule. So for the first one, if you have no items, how much is that going to cost, right? And then if you have 1 item and it's $5 each, and then adding 5 each time. And then for your pizza, fill this one in based on that. And then we'll talk about those corresponding terms once the chart's filled in, okay? So go ahead and fill your chart in. Okay, so you should have filled in 0 because if you didn't buy any hot dogs, you didn't pay anything. And then you started your 5 for 1 hot dog, 10, and 15. And then for pizza, again, starting with 0, 10, 20, and 30. So once you filled it in, we can look at those corresponding terms. So if we're looking at this one's talking about the third item. So the third item, if we got 3 items, the corresponding terms would be the 15 corresponds with the 30 on the pizza. If it wanted the second item, then it would be a 10 and a 20. Or the first item would be 5 and 10. So this is just the corresponding items on the third item list. Okay, so this is just vocabulary for corresponding terms. I'm actually going to list that on the next slide to write the vocabulary words for you. We had it on, I've already talked about the vocabulary, but we haven't written it down yet. So let's go ahead and write it in our book. So what is a corresponding term? It's the numbers that have the same position in 2 related patterns. So again, the first example I gave you was this one, and these are corresponding to each other. So that would be one of the examples you could draw in there. We've also completed and made 2 different charts. So the corresponding term would be like the second position compared to the second position there. And then what I know about it, I know that if it's the second term in a pattern, then it's going to be the second term in a related pattern. So again, these are some different examples you can draw in, or you can just do a couple of them, that's fine. But go ahead and get those vocabularies listed in your book for me. And then look at number 2, and it says look at these patterns where the corresponding terms. So again, these are sideways, kind of like this one is. You're looking at the term right here. The first corresponding term would be 0. So 0 corresponds with the first term here of 0. So right here I put the first corresponding terms are 0 and 0. So the second terms, we have a 3. And the second one here, we have a 1. So the second terms are 3 and 1. And then just go down the chart. You have a 6 and a 2. You have a 9 and a 3. And then the last one would be 12 and 4. Okay, so Russell works at a gift shop, and each t-shirt costs $15 and each snow globe costs $5. Russell makes a list of the cost of buying 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 t-shirts. He also wants to make a list of the cost of the same number of snow globes. So show how he makes his list, and then write a sentence describing the rules. So what's happening in each of them. Again, it says that he makes a list of the cost, so you can just list it out like this. So if you have 0 shirts, and then the cost is $15 each, 15, you can list it that way, or you can put it in a chart like we've been doing. Same information, just above that you would say that it was 0 shirts, 1 shirt, and then list it out. So you need to do 2 different charts again because we have t-shirts and snow globes. So go ahead and fill in 2 charts for me. Okay, so the t-shirts, again, the chart is $15 each. So every time that you are filling in your chart, the rule would be that you're going to have to add 15 each time. Okay. The second one is your snow globes. Again, listing out that you're getting 6 snow globes. The cost is $5 each snow globe. So what is the rule for that one? Well, the rule would be that you're going to add 5 each time because it cost 5. So make sure you're writing that out for me. Okay, so this is the end of this lesson. I have a second one that you need to click on to finish out this chapter on analyzing patterns. So go ahead and stop here and then open up the next lesson for me.